Melanie from Melanie M Home Life. This was a part of Tim's thrift finds and he spent $25 on it. What are we gonna do with it? We're not sure yet, but let's get into it. So Tim and I found this at a local thrift store. The unique patterning is what brought us to this piece. It's not a bad piece. It does smell a little bit of smoke. There is some stain damage up here, which we're going to remedy. And the drawers are not in horrible condition, but we are going to have to do some puttying, some sanding, and some magic. So the hardware is in really good shape, and we are going to, I think, reuse it for this project. It's kind of nice, actually. That's tarnish, folks. According to my husband, I call it dirt. We are not sponsored by Crud Cutter, but we are going to use that on these drawers today. I'm going to spray it on and let it sit for a couple of minutes. I'm just going to see if it's going to bring any of this up. Oh, it's yellow.
Like Mel said, we're using the Crud Cutter. We spray it on, let it sit for a couple of minutes, wipe it off, then we get some clean water, and we wipe the Crud Cutter off as well.
That water is so gross, and the Crud Cutter, like that cloth, was disgusting. So I'm going to rip into this with a 60 grit sandpaper. I'm only going to do just this panel to see what we have, and then Tim and I are going to talk and see what our next plan is. Here we go.
Okay, I'm taking over the sanding. I'm going to be using Mel's new Ryobi Orbital sander and some Diablo 5-inch 60 grit sandpaper to start this off. I am going to be sanding it all down to the bare wood. Not sure if you can see them or not, but there's a couple of nails here that popped out and need to be pulled out and rehammered in. All these drawers have the funky wallpaper in them. They're kind of neat, but they're missing off the ends, so I'm just going to pull them out. And hopefully these drawers aren't horrible. As they are.
So Tim and I found gold as we sanded off that herringbone. We wanted to keep the herringbone, but it's just not going to work. So now that we've sanded and prepped the drawers, we're going to whitewash them. For that, we're going to use Fusion Casement. And I'm going to take my trusty old Tostitos jar. I filled it with about half full of water, and I'm going to do equal parts of paint. I'm going to shake it up. Now we whitewash. All right, so I'm using a sponge, and I'm just going to liberally apply this all over my drawer. Okay, it's on there pretty equally. Let's wipe. You need to really work sort of quick, but you need to continually be going back and forth with your paint because you want to keep it active. Fun fact, it's easier to peel this tape off while it's wet. Okay, so now we're going to prime this dresser, and I'm breaking out the Kills 3, and I'm just going to dump some in and roll it on. Let's roll. All right, let's prime. Kills is dry. I just decided to be safe and tape off this project. I am going to be using some Fusion paint, and it is called Jenny's Green. Fusion is really a thick paint, so I'm actually going to be mixing with water. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the hardware. So the hardware, if you remember what it looked like when I pulled it off, was in very bad disrepair. So I decided that I would soak it in like a TSP kind of solution overnight, which was great, but then it still wasn't coming clean. It was really actually disgusting. So I decided I would use some easy off oven cleaner because I knew I was painting this hardware. I didn't think there was much hope because of the smell from the cigarette smoke. And this was a really bad smoky type of repair. So this is what we ended up with. Very, very great improvement. Now I'm going to actually paint it, and I'm using a bare flat primer and paint. I just picked this up at Home Depot. It's about $11. I've never used it before, so I'm not really sure how it's going to work, but we're going to try it out and see. I picked these baskets up from the grocery store. They were full of cabbages, and they're free to a good home generally, but what I like to do is if I have a piece of hardware that's just kind of hanging about, I like to connect it here so that it stands up straight and tall, and then when I'm painting it, there's usually no issues. That guy needs to go back to his side. Anyhow, yes, I started with the back. The idea was if I didn't like the flat black, that I would go on to something else. I'm happy with what it's turning into, and I look forward to seeing the end result. Fun fact, you should be removing this tape while it's wet, and we have a little bit of bleeding. So finally some cool weather, and it's not really cool, it's just cool right now. Everybody's sleeping. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning here. So I decided that I would finish up my dresser this morning and get it sealed. So I'm going to be using Big Mama's butter on this. I'm going to seal everything with it. So these drawers, I'm also going to use Big Mama's butter on them. And I'm going to work side to side so I can get them all done. Can you feel the excitement? I am so excited to get this dresser put back together. They come out perfectly. Sometimes these drawers tell their own story, and they're going to tell you where to put these pieces of hardware. That's okay. When in doubt, hammer it out. I'm going to start with the top drawer. Okay, so this dresser, I purchased it and it had my sister-in-law written all over it. I actually purchased the paint, a fusion color called Jenny's Green. So I'm going to call this Jenny's dresser. Jenny's dresser came from the Mission Thrift Store, where we paid $40 for it. We used casement and Jenny's Green paint from Fusion on it. We only used 1/3 of the bottle of the Fusion paint, and I'm saying that very generously. I don't think we used that much because we've watered it down a little bit and made it easier to work with. Also, for the casement whitewash, we used very, very little in order to achieve the whitewash. So I'm going to say it was roughly $12 to get that paint there. So we're at $52. Then we used a little bit of top coat, some sandpaper. I'm saying we have $60 into this piece total. What I will tell you is we have listed it on Facebook Marketplace for $300. We have not put the dimensions in again because we want to have those clear conversations about dimensions and encouraging buyers to come and have a look or to purchase. At the end of the day, We only have $60 into this piece. So if we have to go down a little bit, that's okay. We're still gonna make a little bit of money on it, and it didn't take long. These dressers are the best to flip. So this is Melanie from Melanie Ann Home Life. I hope you're enjoying your day, loving the sunshine and the heat. And you know what? If you haven't clicked like, subscribe, and share, please do so. We love to do these furniture flipping videos. If you have comments, put them down below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks. Stay tuned for more content. The unique patterning, a little shake. Woohoo! Okay. You're not going to use that in the bloopers, are you?
Your love is like an ocean ready to take sail, swept by current, slide.